Hello, this is Mad Cat. Although, well, my name is Chris Vody, but you better know me as Mad Cat. I had that in my head, and then it's just like immediately screw it up. So, I'll try not to make this video very long, but I got a couple of big announcements that I want to go over today for all my fans. And rather than do these individually, on Twitter and various social networking, I'd rather do this all at once. So, I guess the first big announcement that I have is my Pub Slush Fund. Now, my Pub Slush Fund was semi-successful. Now, when I say semi-successful, what I'm meaning by that is my original asking amount was for $3,000. I didn't get that. Thankfully, though, Pub Slush, which was one of the reasons why I chose to go with Pub Slush, allows for any amount made over $5,000 to be awarded. So if I get $500, I get $500 then. I was fortunate that I got $750. So that means that I get $750 minus the cut that Pub Slush takes out, which is one of the lowest when it comes to crowdfunding. So I'm still going to be taking home quite a bit of money. Now, on the downside is it's going to take a couple of weeks for me to get that money. Got to wait for all the transactions to process, and then they have to send it to me by check. I would do it direct deposit, but they want to charge an additional fee on top of that. And it's like, no, I'm just going to take the check. So this has been a great momentous thing for me. I actually feel happier. I'm not like 100% happy, but I'm happier than I have been in my life. I mean, I still got a lot of things to deal with, such as my medical issues, living at home, the isolation. I mean, what you see right behind me, this is pretty much my whole life, and the computer that's right behind me. So I don't really get out a whole lot, and that can take a heavy toll on someone. But even with all of that, I feel like there's an extra spring in my step. And I haven't felt like that in a very long time. I don't even remember the last time I felt this good. I actually feel confident of what lies ahead of me. And it's still going to be a very, very tough road. And I have no disillusion about that. But I feel confident that it can happen. I mean, when 20 or so strangers come out of nowhere and give you money to say that we believe you can do it, it really affects you in a very positive way. So I'm still so excited by the prospect of it that I can get a book together, a really good book together. Now, unfortunately, due to the length of my book, the most of the cost will go towards editing. The first book of this series was going to actually be a little bit on the costly side because of its length, and I was going to make up for that cost with the second book, which is not going to be as long. Had I made the full $3,000, and then books 3 and 4 would have been balanced out a little bit. Because of that, one of the things I'm going to do, I originally was going to release 4 smaller books with it, what I call supplementals or supplements. And these would add to the story, but then they wouldn't be the core book itself, and you could skip these if you wanted, and you wouldn't miss out anything on the story. I need at least 3 of them. The 4th one I really don't need, so I'm going to be cutting it out of my story to cut down on costs. Now, there's no reason that I can't later add the supplement when, I start building up money and I can afford to do it. Then I can go ahead and include that into the circulation. So it's not a big deal. It would only really introduce characters that would be featured in the 3rd book on that are sort of alluded to in the 1st book, but you don't really learn a whole lot about them. So I'm going to have the 1 core book, the 1 free ebook, which serves as the prologue, and then 2 supplements that add to the story but don't take away from the story. I've already found an artist, and it's a husband and wife team, and they are both very, very talented. And as I get closer to the release of the book, I will reveal who they are. I just kind of don't want to jinx it right now, but they're free to reveal who they are if they want. But they've given me a very promising deal, and I'm really looking forward in working with them. So, hold on, I'm getting like so many things at once. Okay, so I got the cover done, and now I just need to get the book. I'm looking for an editor right now. If anyone has any recommendations for a book editor, I'm in the market. I'm estimating that with the supplements and the core book itself, it's probably going to be closer to 300 pages. And with an editor, even if they charge $1 a page, that's still $300. If they charge $2 a page, that's $600. So it's going to get pretty costly, but I think it's going to be worth it because this is a really good story. The future books will actually be on the shorter side of this book. All right, so there is that big announcement. I am a little bit worried with money, though, because I've had some run-ins with my mom and her husband. Her husband was trying to convince me of things that I should spend the money on, like getting a new office chair. My office chair right now is kind of on its last leg, pardon the pun, but I mean, it's a good analogy. And I told him, look, that's all well and nice, but I can't. This has to go for my book. And he's like, well, those doctors you're wanting to see, because I was trying to see a chiropractic neurologist or neurological chiropractic, whatever they're called. And I can't because my insurance doesn't cover it. He's like, well, you should put money towards seeing a doctor and trying to get fixed. And it's like, one, any treatment that can help me would probably take more than 1 visit to accomplish. 2, I can't spend this money on anything other than the book. And he was starting to get at me too. That was like, well, you need to start thinking about your future, and you need to think about how to use this money to accomplish that. And I'm like, that's the whole point of this. I'm trying to think for my future. I'm trying to decide. Well, I'm trying to generate some sort of income that's, over a long period of time that I could potentially live off of one day. Maybe it takes a year or 2, but, that's what all of this is about. But I can't just blow that. I've made promises to people, and I don't even think he really understood. I think he just stopped talking because I wouldn't budge from this. But it's one of my concerns right now that they're going to try to use this money against me in some way. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, big news. I got the money, and I've just got to wait for it to come, and then I can start publishing my story. Now, it is my goal for the end of June for the release. Depends on when I get the money, when I can get an editor and get it all together. If it's not by the end of June, it'll be right at the beginning of July. To all of my people who've donated and who got the reward for getting a free copy of my books, I will keep you updated as far as that goes. As far as my other books that you all purchase, I will be getting those out to you next week. It won't take me very long to do them. I'm just kind of taking this week off. By the way, if you're watching this video now and you want to say something in chat, go ahead and do so, and I'll try to read it. But I'm trying to take this week off. I'm still doing work. I find that I get very bored and I have to do something, but I'm taking it easy this week. Next week, everything starts for me. The first steps of my brand new life start next week. So the next big bit of news. Now, this probably won't be a big deal to any of you, but it is going to be a big deal for me. One of the things that I'm known for is my world building series. Now, my world building series focused on geography. It's something that's often ignored with world building is geography itself. I created a map making series for people who don't know how to draw, and it's been fairly successful. Now, for the month of April, I tried to do the A to Z blog challenge, and that met with some difficulty. I did it last year, and it was fairly successful. This year, it was pretty much a failure. In fact, I didn't finish it because I was just so burnt out. In fact, I tried changing a few things about it just to try to accommodate people, but it really didn't pan out for me. But despite that fact, I made record views in the month of April than the entirety of my blog. For instance, I got over 6,000 views for my blog. Now, when I wasn't, I want to try to put that in perspective for you. 6,000 is a lot, because on average, I usually get about 1,000 views per month. So I did 6 times more views than I normally do. In fact, in one day when I re-released my world building article that just kind of went over the planet Earth and what we can learn about Earth in order to apply to our future maps, that got over 1,000 views by itself. Last year, for the month of April, I only got 700 views. In one day, I outdid the total views of that month. In fact, with the month of April, if you took November, December, January, February, March, I barely outdid all of those months combined. So the point of all of this, other than to stroke my own ego, is, sorry, my mind is starting to go. I can't be doing this video for too much longer. The point is, I tallied up all of my views. I was trying to see what people were viewing more than anything else, and it confirmed what my suspicions were. When I looked at the entirety of my website, which is about 14 months worth of information, I found that my world building series accounted for 70% of my total views. And we're talking in the 23,000 total views that I've gotten for my blog since its creation. And of that, 70% was for world building. Now, just for the month of April, 6,000 views, 80% was just for world building. So that tells me that I need to change focus of my website. And I'm going to start putting a lot more focus towards world building. Now, I just finished my map making series. but I'm going to be starting a new series for world building. I'm going to try to do something that I've not seen anywhere else. I've seen a lot of resources, a lot of websites dedicated to world building, and there was always an apparent problem that I noticed. I'm not going to go into too much details about what it is now. If you're interested, you can check out my website. I will be posting it on my Twitter when it becomes available, but I'm going to be trying to do something that's never been done before when it comes to world building, and I think that it's really going to make me even more successful. So having more focus on world building is my second big news. I'm still going to do a little bit of other things dedicated to writing education, just not as much. And I'm probably going to start doing about 4 blog articles a month instead of 7, 8, or 9. It varied month to month, but it was usually in one of those numbers. So going to do about half the work, which is going to free me up for other things. So my last bit of news, and this is the big one. I saved this for last, and I thank any of you who's been watching this, because this probably all has been boring. If you had caught the Honey Badger radio program earlier this week, you'll note that I mentioned something about a publishing company. And that is my big news, is I'm going to start up my own publishing company. Now, publishing company is a very hard company to do. It's not like any other kind of business. A lot of the rules that you do for any particular business, you can sort of apply to another one. Publishing company is very different from that. However, it's very similar to a lot of the things that I've done for myself as far as marketing goes. So, oh God, my brain is starting to go. So I feel that it is a business that I can do. Now I'm still kind of in the building of it, and my hope is to get it launched by July 6th. I'm trying to avoid the 4th of July holiday for that, and also start on a Monday. So I think it's the first Monday of July, and that gives me enough time to kind of design everything and put everything together, figure out contracts and things like that. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that my money from PubSlush is still going towards the book. It won't be going towards this business, at least not directly, because part of my funds are going to go towards marketing. And a lot of what I would be doing for marketing would be similar to what I'm doing for this publishing company. So in a way, I'm kind of channeling the money through the publishing company into my book. So, if I contact a website and say, hey, I'm interested in putting my book as an advertisement on your site, I do that through the business. And then that way, that's a resource that I can use for other writers. Now, at this time, I'm going to be mainly focusing on my own stuff. I'm going to start very small and build myself up from there. I have potentially a couple of customers interested, a couple of writers, and a couple of comic book artists, writers. So there is potential for growth already, but I want to make sure that I take this very slow. If I rush this, if I try to get too big too fast than I'm able to, it's going to crumble. And if that means I lose a couple of people along the way in that process, there's really nothing I can do about it. So I've created a Facebook page for it. It's going to be called Concrete Desk Publishing. I'm probably not going to be too different from any other publisher. I'm going to be focused on indie writers. I'm going to be focusing on things that you can do by yourself, but you may not know how to do, or you may not have the time to do. And that's where I'm going to come in. Now, if you can do it yourself, I highly encourage it, but I have experience in doing self-publishing, so I can actually help you out in doing that, and that's what you'll be paying for. Most likely, you can either pay directly to me, or we can take a percentage out of your success of your book. Now, we're still planning a lot of what we want to do for this business, so it's can't really reveal a whole lot, but I do have a Facebook page and I do have a Twitter. I'm going to start adding a lot of you. The big thing also is that this publishing company openly supports Gamergate, openly supports men's rights, openly supports anti-feminists, openly supports sad puppies. I mean, pretty much everything that I support, this company supports, and I'm being open about it. That's probably going to put a big target on my back, but I think we need businesses out there that openly support these groups, because these groups do need support. And I want to do everything I can to help those within these groups that are being mistreated, especially in the publishing world, since it's still very feminist. Now, I want you to understand two things. One, I can't take all submissions at this time. My resources are very limited. So if I can't take you now, I'll probably encourage you to try again in probably 6 months to a year and see if we can help you at that time. I mean, I would love to be able to help all of you, but because I'm starting out very small and pretty much with no money, there's really, I really have to pick and choose who I help at this time. And I apologize for that. The second big thing I want to state is that just because I support all of these groups, it doesn't mean that I won't publish something that a feminist writes. You know, there are good feminists out there. And if they want me to publish their work, because, you know, there are also feminists within Gamergate as well, and their work does not support a feminist narrative, there's a chance that I might publish it. So I want everyone to understand that right away, that just because I support these groups doesn't mean that I won't take work from people on the within feminism. I probably won't take anyone who's a known aggro, though, or a known social justice warrior. But if they're a good person, you know, their writing should speak for themselves. It doesn't entirely work that way, but that's how it should work. So, but I don't want anything that's going to be like some Mary Sue character who's like this badass with all the male characters that are weak and dumb. It's like, I wouldn't want to support that. I mean, yeah, maybe it would sell a lot to the feminists, but I'm not here for them. So I just want everyone to understand that. Now, one of the people that will be helping me with this business will be Hannah Wallen. Hannah will be my content manager. She'll be doing a lot of reading of manuscripts and helping various people out with their ideas. She's also looking to take a couple of IPs and expand their media into different things, including games. And I think that's a very good idea. So there's a lot of possibilities of what we can do for you. As we get closer to the launch date, which I hope coincides with my book launch date, there will be more information. But for now, if you want to follow me on Facebook, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's fantastic. You can view my stuff below. But I really want to help, you know, the people out there who are getting abused by the system. And that's what this company is about. Now, it is a company still to make money. So, I mean, please don't misunderstand, but I still want to try to help you any way I can. It's just, this is an opportunity for me to try to make some money in the world so I can start taking care of myself. This, along with my book series, maybe I can get, you know, a doctor. Maybe I can eventually get my own apartment. try to start building my life. And I think this will be perfect for my disability. Also, anyone out there with disabilities, let me know, and I'll see if I can help you out in any way as well. I mean, while I am asking for money for a lot of my services, I may still be able to give a little bit of advice here and there. Also, for the website that I'm building for it, I am going to start putting a lot of my writing advice on there. So that's how I'm going to be dividing it. So I'm still pretty much doing the same work. I'm just dividing it between the two websites. So my Concrete Desk Publishing will feature articles on writing tips and marketing tips, whereas my actual chrisvodi.com will have world building and literary terms. So I think that about does it for me. Pubslush being successful, focusing on world building, and opening up a publishing company. So those are my big three things. I thank you for everyone who's watched this, and any support you can give is great. Mostly what I need is when my book goes live, buy it. It's going to be for a fairly low price, but also spread the word. Add me, suggest your friends add me as far as my Twitter account goes and my Facebook account. And it's probably going to take a long time before I see any major success in my life, but my hope is that with my book I can make enough money to get the next book out. And then with those two books, I make enough money to get the third book and then the fourth book, and just continue on like that. And then with the publishing company, I take on a couple of people. I help them out, boost their sales up, which helps me out. And then I can help more and more people. And between those two things, I'm hoping that a life can get started. Sado Christ, I always get here near the end of what you're talking about. Well, if you heard the publishing company stuff, Sado Chris, that's really the big news right there. I think everyone else kind of already knew the other stuff. And so anyways, that's going to do it for me today. I'm really excited by this. I think that it's a long, hard, difficult road ahead of me, but I'm very confident. I think I can do it. I know I can do it. It's just going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of hard work. This coming Monday is going to be my first day in. I'm going to check in and I'm going to get started writing the rest of my story, getting all of my rewards out to everyone who got stuff, who donated to me. I got to give some big thanks out to Mercedes Carrera. She's been a big help, not just for what she donated, but also all the tweets she gave me, and also offering for a prize. Sweet Tara, she also helped near the end for a special prize for donation. Gwen Lily Knight, she helped out a lot. Mandra the Monk, I think that's your name. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. He donated, but also, really helped out with tweeting. Photo Kill, same thing there. Oh God, there's a lot of people I have to thank, and I will make a special page on my website to thank all of you. Those are probably some of the bigger people there. Hannah Wallen did a lot. So, I thank all of you, and everything that I'm going to be able to do with my life, being able to start my life, is going to be thanks to all of you. So anyways, I guess that's going to do it for me. This is Mad Cat signing off.